Welcome to Gynecological Sonographic Anatomy, Part 1. This will introduce you to basic anatomy of ultrasound in gynae, basic anatomy of the reproductive system for female, and you are going to juxtapose the normal anatomy to sonographic anatomy, so that anytime you are scanning, you'll be able to know which organ you are looking at, which gland that is on the screen, in the image, which tissue are you looking at. If you look at the uterus, what are you going to talk about? So let's proceed. So please subscribe to my channel and like my channel by clicking on like to like my video. For more videos, you can. This is part 1, and you'll be getting the part 2 as soon as possible. So let's proceed. So we are going to look at anatomy of uterus, fallopian tube, ovary, endometrium. We are going to look at normal findings and sonographic images. Now, before you scan, you need to look at clinical history of the patient. Also, the reason for the referral, the age of the patient, the menstrual history. So we'll talk about menstrual history. When was her last menstrual period? The cycle history. What was the length? Was it 3 days, 4 days, or 5 days? So you look at the length of the menses. Is it 2 days, 3 days, or to 7 days? That's 1 week. The regularity. Does it come every month? And does it keep long for 1 hour, 2 hours before it stops? And is the person not menstruating again? As the person hits her menopause, say from 51, 52 years, 52 years, or 54 years old. Let's look at some symptoms of menstruation, or why the person is referred for scanning. Does the patient feel pain? The type of pain, duration of the pain. Is it related to the cycle? Is it due to the menstrual cycle that's making you feel the pain? Bleeding. Is it heavy? Is it intramenstrual bleeding or premenstrual bleeding? Or amenorrhea? Is it lack of menses for some time? Relevant medication given, previous gynecological surgery or treatment. So you're going to look at all this. So you, the sonographer, must consider all this clinical history of the patient in a brief way. Gynecological ultrasound examinations. Let's look at some observations of how to scan the organs. What are the sonographic anatomy of these organs? Are we seeing, or are we scanning normal anatomy, or the variants, including age and menstrual status related to appearance of the whole organ in at least 2 planes? Is it transverse or longitudinal views? So you can scan in a transverse view or in a longitudinal view. This should include assessment of size, outline, ecotexture, and echogenesis. Is it pathological? So you are going to look at the size of the uterus, of the ovary, the outline of it. Is there any lobulation, echo texture of the organ, and also other textures, hypoechoic, anechoic, whether it's hypoechoic or anechoic. Then let's look at the uterus. What are the anatomical structures which the sonographer should be able to examine correctly? The position of the uterus, the size, the shape, and the ultrasound findings of the endometrium and myometrium. So if you're able to diagnose very well, you'll be able to know that, oh, the uterus has this size. Where is it located? Is it in the mid-pelvis? Is it the size, the shape, and the characteristics of the endometrium and the myometrium? So whether the endometrium is in the proliferative phase or secretory phase, whether the myometrium is homogeneous or with nodular masses, multiple masses. Then let's look at the ovary. Look at the ovary, the position of the ovary. Is it a torsion? Is it tossed to other side? Or is it they are the right position in the right and the left administrator? The size of it, the shape of it, and the characteristics of the ovaries. You also want to look at the number of follicular cysts in the ovary. Also look at the size of the ovary and the internal echo pattern of follicles where present. So whether they are normal follicles or abnormal follicles. You need also to know those follicles, are they functional or physiological follicles. So you need to know also the size of those follicles. If they are more than 5 centimeters, then it's physiological. But less than 5 centimeters, it is functional. So during the second week of post-menstruation, you see that the follicles are enlarged. Normally, there's one that is bigger than the rest, which is called the dominant follicle or the Graafian follicle, which is also called the mature follicle. Yes, that's also called the mature follicle. So you need to know those characteristics. You have polycystic ovary. Polycystic ovary means ovaries that are follicles that are more than 12 in an ovary. That is what is regarded as polycystic ovary, meaning there are multiple abnormal cystic lesions in the ovary. And let's look at the cervix. You have normal cervical length to be 5 centimeters, 4 to 5 centimeters when not pregnant. But when one is pregnant, the size, the length differs. So let's look at this shortly. So when not pregnant, the cervix is 4 to 5 centimeters. So when a cervix is short, one study found that at 24 weeks gestation, the average cervical length is 3.5 centimeters. Yes, that is correct. When cervical length is less than 2.2 centimeters, women face 20% probability of preterm delivery. Yes, because the length of the cervix is very short. So this is the cervix you are seeing. So this is the cervix of pregnant woman. So you can see this, the vagina fornices. This is the fornices of the vagina. So like that. So that's the cervix. So from here to this place is considered to be the canal. This. So from here to here is regarded as 2.2 centimeters. So it's very short. So that is what we are talking about. So no, so when it is short, the baby will like to come out, especially when it is cephalic and the head is fixed in the internal os. So here is the internal os, here is the external os. Yeah. So looking at the menstrual cycle, normally, as I said, this is a mature follicle. So this mature follicle has to rupture. When it ruptures, it releases an egg. So the egg that is released into the from the attached to the fallopian tube at the femori, goes into the ampulla, waiting for a sperm to fertilize. So on the 14th day after menstruation, a follicle is released on the 14th day into the fallopian tube, and an egg has to, a semen, a spermatozoa has to be released to meet the egg in the ampulla. So let's look at, so after that ovulation period, there's a corpus luteum and a corpus albicans. This corpus luteum, it develops in a bigger size and later shrinks, then becomes an albicans. It means a dead fallopian corpus luteum or a big corpus. So at this time, the hormonal level reduces, that the progesterone level reduces, and the blood is shed. So the endometrium is sludged off. So you can, this is the endometrium you are seeing here. That's the endometrium you are seeing here. It's sludged off. So when it's sludged off, it comes out as a menstrual blood, menstruation. So these are the spiral arteries you are seeing supplying blood to the endometrium. So the spiral arteries supply blood. So the spiral from the arcuate artery. So you can see this is the arcuate artery running at the base or in the myometrium. So this is the myometrium filling with the arteries feeding the endometrium with blood. So in the luteal phase, the endometrium becomes thickened. That is the secretory phase. That is the secretory phase. So the secretory phase. Secretory phase. Okay. So this is the secretory phase. And this is the menstrual to proliferative phase. That's when the estrogen rate comes higher in the bloodstream. Then after that, it reduces to a lower level. Then later takes up again during the ovulation. So that's the peak of the luteinizing hormone. Now this is the follicular stimulating hormone in the bloodstream. So it becomes a level form, like as far as the menstruation is concerned, and as well as the luteinizing hormone also has a normal flow. Okay. Then let's look at the stages, how to juxtapose the menstrual phase with the ultrasound images. So we are juxtaposing the ultrasound images with the menstrual phase. So as you can see here, so these are the primary, secondary follicles maturing gradually. So at the anthers filled with Lycor follicles, you can see a release of an egg on the 14th day. So this is more graphical. So you can see this is the progesterone level, and this is raising at the secretory phase, then to the premenstrual phase. That is when the patient is about to menstruate again. At this particular time, the blood vessels are engorged, and the endometrium becomes thickened at 4 to 18 millimeters. So So you can see the venous lacunae, the space in which the blood stores, the endometrial vein, the spiral artery, as I indicated previously, basal artery, the arcuate artery. So the arcuate artery is the mother artery. That out of that, the basal, spiral, straight arteries come from. That fills the endometrium with blood. So the blood is always rich in the secretory phase. The endometrium is always rich with blood in the secretory phase, and that's what sludge off as a menstrual cycle, menstrual flow. So you can see the composition in a graduated form or in grace. From here go to its mature stage. At that time it will be cystic, and this normally when there's a pregnancy, the composition becomes cystic, and other people think to be an abnormality. No, it's because of the hormonal level, progesterone. And when after the pregnancy has taken place, finally the composition, as the pregnancy grows gradually to 2 months, 2.5 months, 3 months, that's 12 weeks to 13 weeks, the composition shrinks and becomes, and it's totally resolved. So let's look at other juxtaposing of the images. So looking at the stages, the appearance of the uterus. So at this stage is the endometrium at the early stage. So this premenstrual phase of the endometrium, menstrual phase, the proliferative phase, the endometrium, the secretory phase of the endometrium. So look at the images depicting these appearances. So you can see this is the menstrual phase, proliferative phase, this is the secretory phase. So the reason why there's a free fluid here, you can see a free fluid here. This is a free fluid you are seeing here. You can see a free fluid here. So this free fluid is just after ovulation. You see this free fluid in the porch of Douglas, in the posterior porch of Douglas. Okay, and this is due to a ruptured follicle that produces this blood in the porch of Douglas. So you can see the endometrium here is also sticking in the secretory phase. That's exactly what we are talking about. Okay, so and here these are the normal phenomenon. This is the secretory phase of the endometrium, and let's look at other phenomena too. Then we have this showing normal follicular maturations at this stage. So this is the small follicles, 1 to 2 millimeters here. So these are follicles at 2 millimeters, and this from growth of dominant follicle here. So this one becoming dominant. So as you can see here, so here this is the ovulation time. You can see this is the dominant follicle has been ovulated at this stage. It has been ovulated. So at this stage, finally comes a corpus luteum. So this results also to corpus luteum. So you can see that is what you're talking about. So this mature follicle or growth follicle has been ruptured to release an egg. Okay. The next is the blood supply to the endometrium, to the myometrium, and also to the endometrium, to the ovaries, to the fallopian tube, to the vagina, and to the cervix. So the main vessel here is the hypogastric artery, meaning in the hypogastric region from the aorta. So this is coming direct from the aorta. So this is coming direct from the aorta here. From the aorta, and you can see the uterine artery and the vaginal arteries. So this supplies blood to the vaginal canal and to the cervix, to the myometrium. So here is the myometrium. As you see, this is the myometrium here, and to the endometrium. So you can see that's the endometrium running through here. So you can see the arcuate artery here is the arcuate artery supplying blood to the endometrium, gradually to all parts of the uterus, to the fundus, to the fallopian tube here, and to the ovary here. As you can see, the same thing here. So branches to the tube. So you can see the fallopian tube is also supplied with blood. The ovarian ligament is also supplied with blood. So typically, when there's an ovarian torsion, you look at whether the blood is flowing well or not on Doppler test. So when there's a torsion, there's insufficient blood flow to the ovary. So this is a typical findings of an ovarian torsion. You can see this ovarian artery can supply blood to the ovary. You have branch to round ligament of the uterus, branches to body, branches to cervix. Okay, so that is exactly how blood is supplied to the myometrium, the ovaries, the fallopian tube, the endometrium. So that is why the whole reproductive organ is highly vascularized. This is another typical example of an ovarian artery supplying blood to the endometrium and to the myometrium. This is a pictorial view of what we saw here. So these are the names of those vessels, the arteries. The ovarian artery, this the uterine artery here, and this the arcuate artery. So as you can see here also, you can see the ovarian artery is here, and the vaginal artery, and the arcuate, the uterine artery. So this is the arcuate artery, which is connected with the radial artery, basal artery, spiral artery, and so on and so forth. And you can see that's the endometrium here. That's the endometrium you are seeing here. This is the myometrium. So in the myometrium you see this arcuate artery and the branches of those arteries from the arcuate artery. And what do they do? Those arteries, what do they do? For the arcuate arteries, it encircles the endometrium. Yes. So it goes around the endometrium. Yeah. Yeah. They connect arcuate to straight artery. Straight arteries they deliver blood to basal zone. The basal zone or the basal layer. So this one also be called a layer. This is a basal layer. This is a basal layer. This is a basal layer. The spiral artery deliver blood to functional layer. So the same thing. Functional layer. So normally the functional layer is sludge of leaving the basal layer during menstruation. So whenever there's a menstruation, the functional layer is sludge of leaving the basal layer. So you can see the pictorial view of what you are seeing, what they have depicted here. So it's a gradual growth of the endometrium. This is the endometrium, so you can see the blood vessels, the lacunae, the blood vessels from the estrogen. This is the estrogen level. This is the estrogen level. The estrogen level here to progesterone. So from here, climbing up, there's those graduated peak is the progesterone and the progesterone level. Then let's look at some two main layers of the endometrium which can be distinguished. These two layers occur only in the endometrial lining in the cavity of the uterus, not in the lining of the uterine tube. Yes, they always occur in the uterus, as this is the uterus here. the uterus you are seeing here. Here. So that is the endometrium. Yeah, so this is the endometrium. Like that. So that's the uterus. You can see this is the functional layer. So here is the myometrium, posterior myometrium, anterior myometrium, that's the endometrium. So this outer border here is the basal layer. Is the basal layer here. The inner one is the functional layer. Is the functional layer. Is the functional layer. So here is the cervix, external os of the cervix. So you can see, so the functional layer is adjacent to the uterine cavity. So that's the uterine cavity you're seeing here. This layer is built up after the end of menstruation during the first part of the previous menstrual cycle. So the first part of the menstrual cycle is the premenstrual phase. Like you are seeing here, this is the premenstrual phase here. So this is the premenstrual phase, the menstrual. So this is the proliferative phase and the secretory phase. And later changes in this layer are engendered by progesterone from the corpus luteum. Yes, the corpus luteum produces progesterone at that level and is adapted to provide an optimum environment for the plantation and growth of the embryo. This layer is completely shed during menstruation years. The basal layer, which is adjacent to the myometrium and below the functional layer. So this one, as you can see, layer is not shed at any time during the menstrual cycle, and from it the functional layer develops. So you can see, so this is the mother to the functional. The functional layer is the child of the basal layer. In the absence of progesterone, the arteries supplying blood to the functional layer constrict, so that cells in that layer become ischemic and die, and leading to menstruation. So when that layer there becomes ischemic, meaning diseased, not producing any hormone again or blood supply to the functional layer, becomes weak, and because of that, when it becomes weak, then there's no supply of blood to the endometrium, so it goes off like that. Okay. I hope you're enjoying it. So let's continue to the next stage. So this is typical examples of ultrasound images of endometrium in the uterus. So you can see these arrows are pointing to respective areas of the endometrium. So we are going to look at this. So let's continue by saying that, as you can see, these two arrows pointing to this is the thin endometrium, and this is the functional layer. So that is the functional layer you are seeing there. That's the functional layer here, and this here, the border outside functional layer here is the basal layer. So this is the basal layer you are seeing here. This is the basal layer. So you can see a dark area here with different shapes, irregular borders, is the arcuate artery that has blood supply. So this is the arcuate artery. This is the arcuate artery. This is the arcuate artery. Yeah. This is the arcuate artery here. This is the arcuate artery you are seeing here. And this for supply blood, so you can see the spiral artery goes into the myometrium. Spiral artery going to the myometrium, supplying blood to the myometrium. Sorry. This should be red. It should be red. So you can see supplying blood to the basal layer. You is the myometron. The aqueous matrix of Ambras is the basal layer. Like that. Okay. Thank you. So you can see. So you can see that as easy as possible. So we have also the endometrium measured incorrectly. So we don't measure the endometrium like this. We measure from here, like that, from here to here, like that. Here, at the endometrium, how it is measured. Okay. So these are all sonographic phenomenon of the endometrium. So this is the basal layer of the endometrium. So this endometrium is fake. So you can see from here to here, you measure from here to here. So that's how to measure. You always measure the thicker part of the endometrium. And the endometrium is the inner epithelial layer along with its mucous membrane of the uterus. So it's an epithelial layer, meaning where it's glandular, where so many layers are formed, 2 layers are formed. It has a basal layer and functional layer, yes. So these are the 2 main layers of the endometrium. The 2 main layers of the endometrium. So 2 layers. The functional layer thickens and then is lodged during the menstrual cycle, a short cycle. During pregnancy, the glands and blood vessels in the endometrium further increase in size and number. So yes, when there's an indication of early pregnancy, within 3 weeks, one is pregnant, and the lab test will show that a particular person is pregnant, So that's what you need to know as a sonographer. So within 3 weeks, a UPT will show positive pregnancy. A UPT will show a positive pregnancy. So scan will not show a gestation sac in the endometrium, but you can see the endometrium will be thickened. So with high vascularity. So if you put under the study of Doppler, you see blood flowing into the endometrium, and the hormonal level will be very high if you do a hormonal assay. So the vascular spaces fuse and become interconnected, forming the placenta, which supply oxygen and nutrition to the embryo and fetus. So you can see the high vascularity in the myometrium filling the thickened endometrium, which is an indicative of early pregnancy, means becomes thickened. So that's what you need to know as a sonographer. Yeah. So these are images of this transvaginal image of a thickened endometrium. This transabdominal image of thickened endometrium. So and this arrows pointing to this. So you can see there's the myometrium. There's the endometrium, and that's the cervix you're seeing. Okay, so let's look at some the days and the thickness and the epithelial indications of the endometrium, or the epithelial appearance of the endometrium. So in the menstrual phase, from 1 to 5 days, the endometrium becomes thin, and the thickness becomes thin. In the follicular or proliferative phase is intermediate, not too thick, about 14 millimeters, that's 1.4 centimeters. The secretory phase is 2.7 centimeters, it's thick, it's visible, so the aqueous arteries are more visible. As you can see here, as I showed you previously here, the aqueous arteries are more visible here, as you can see here, the blood supply. So then the ischemic phase, that is when the basal layer is no more supplying blood to the functional layer, it becomes ischemic and becomes thickened. That's 2.8 centimeters. Yes. So the aqueous arteries are visible. That's the end, is branches of the uterus. So that is what you need to look at. So let's look at this here. We are still talking about the endometrium, which is in its innermost glandular layer and functions as a lining of the uterus to create adhesion between the opposed walls of the endometrium, thereby maintaining the patency of the uterine cavity. Yes, during pregnancy, that is what protects the pregnancy from an injury. So the uterus surrounds the endometrium as a protection. During the menstrual cycle, the endometrium goes to a thick blood vessel-rich glandular tissue layer. This represents an optimal environment for the implantation of blastocysts. Yes, and around the blastocyst is a trophoblastic tissue. So we'll be looking at first trimester sonography. We'll talk about blastocysts and the trophoblastic tissue. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So as I said, go and make more research on this. The part 2 comes very soon. Thank you very much. Subscribe to my channel. Click on like to like my videos. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Thank you. God bless you.